So I just watched Kamala Harris' speech at the DNC convention, or DNC. DNC is the Democratic National Convention. Yeah, so I just watched her speech, and my God, I think it was brilliant. Like I haven't watched the whole DNC. I've seen bits and clips and pieces of like the Obamas speaking. I don't think I saw Bernie Sanders or anything like that, but I wanted to watch her speech and their shift to being insanely patriotic, like there's so much like pride in being an American laced in the speech, and she does a great job of hitting Trump at all the points that are like important to hit him at, where it's like she talked about his insurrection scheme, his immunity case, his putting the Supreme Court justices that ultimately overturned Roe v. Wade, or talking about like him wanting to pull out of NATO, or him cozying up to dictators, those sorts of talking points. But it was brilliant. And bringing up the border bill, where they had a bipartisan border bill that they already wanted to put in place, but then the Republicans smacked it down because Trump was like, this is going to be bad for me in my election, so we're not going to put in this border bill. That would have been good. So sorry, I'm a little bit sick right now. But yeah, brilliant. Brilliant at like balancing, hitting Trump at the right places in terms of being like, oh, this is what he did badly with his presidency, but also having a forward-looking vision. Like everything about the speech was about. She has that line of like, "We're not going back," and that's brilliant. Everything about that is brilliant because it's just, it's not the way that they're doing this campaign is not a pure, oh, it's just the anti-Trump campaign. It kind of is like it gets some of that valor, obviously, but it's also putting forward a vision for the future, putting forward, oh, the worst of America's days are not. Like where it, like this sense that we're not in a declining empire, we can do better, we can be move forward, and all these sorts of things. So I think that the speech is brilliant on all those points, and it's you, I don't know, you can't watch that speech and not be inspired by everything about it. You can't watch that speech and not be like proud to be an American. And sure, if you're like a partisan and you're like, oh, I'm a Republican, I'm always gonna vote for Trump no matter what, and you hear the points that she says against Trump, then you'll be like, oh, but you're gonna bring in communism and all that sort of stuff. Like, I get it, but if you're not a partisan hack and you're watching that speech, you can't help but be like, oh my God, I love America, I love everything about this country, oh my God, patriotism. Like, I've always loved patriotism energy. I've always been like, yeah, rah rah America, that kind of person. So it had always upset me that a lot of elements of the Democratic Party, or like people on the left, is this denigration of the country. And I find that really annoying because I'm like, why would you not be proud to be the country that you're from? Like, out of that, like, I consider it amazing. Like, I don't have anything against nationalism, to be clear. So, and I'm not even talking about this from like a policy standpoint, anything like that. There are probably plenty of policy decisions that I'd like disagree with the Harris Waltz administration on, but they haven't really detailed out many of their plans yet. But oh, they talked about building housing. That's brilliant. They talked about labor stuff, and oh yeah, she again, I think she did a brilliant job of playing both sides of the fence. So I'm like, okay, hit at Donald Trump, hit at Donald Trump, hit at Donald Trump, but also here's the stuff that we can do to make Americans' lives better. Build out the middle class, give loans for people building small businesses and all this sort of thing. Protect the border. And she made fun of Trump for increasing the deficit or having plans that would increase the deficit. So she calls out the points that if you were a Republican of the, if you're like a non-populist Republican, let's say, like you're like a Mitt Romney type or something like that, or you're one of those like never Trumper people, she called out all those points that are just perfect for people that are in that camp. So if they're like any independents that are just like, oh, I'm not down with Trump, the right-wing populism is like not really my jam, then she still hit at the points that would be that constituent would care about. So I thought that was very good. Like, she did a very good job of being moderate. And what I love about the current Democratic Party or the current messaging is that there is not a huge amount of focus being put on the identity politics layer. I know there's a lot of people that are like, oh, she's going to be the first woman president. She's going to be the first woman of color president and all those sorts of things. Like, I get it. I get it that the identity politics people care about that. But I like that they're not putting too much emphasis on that. Because I genuinely don't think identity politics plays well. And there's a reason why there's a reason why so many people that went from purely anti-woke to just being right-wingers because they think, oh, the Democratic Party is the party of trans surgery and all these other like random culture war bullshit things. Like they didn't nail at those things too much. Now, obviously, when you're talking about a woman's right to choose and abortion and all those sorts of things, then obviously that's going to be like an identity politics issue, kind of in that way. But you know, it's a very salient issue, and obviously, it makes sense to talk about that. And I think it's a really important issue. So I don't know. Everything about that speech, brilliant. From a speech standpoint, if you're an American and you look at that speech, if you're a nonpartisan hack American, if you're not like tied to a tribe, you would watch that speech and you'd be like, yeah, that speech makes me proud to be an American. They're putting forth a vision forward for the future of America and all that sort of thing. Now, if we got into the weeds of policy, maybe I'd probably find plenty of things I'm like, I don't know if I like that. Oh, when the fact that she brought up AI and wanting to be competitive on the stage for that, I think was great. Even if it's just lip service, that sucks. But I appreciate the fact that she brought that up. Like, I don't know, she just brought up all the points that were like salient on like, okay, this is a positive point in this direction. We're gonna continue to protect Ukraine, continue to protect our allies. That great signaling. And then, you know, tiptoeing around the Gaza issue pretty well with like, okay, we want Israel to be able to fight for its right to defend itself, but also what it's doing in Gaza not so great. So we want to do a ceasefire. I have no idea whether the Biden administration's actually going to negotiate ceasefire or anything like that. But you know, she called out the lip service to it, and then you know, obviously brings up, oh, October 7th really bad, Hamas terrorist group really bad. Like I don't know, she just hits all the points that you need to hit in order to seem like you're hitting everything that everybody wants to hear about. So I thought that was absolutely brilliant. Everything about that speech is great. I think the way that she's campaigning is very good. They're doing a great job of imbibing the sort of I can't really claim this because I don't know anything about the Obama Hope and Change campaign in 2008 because I was literally 7 years old when Obama became president. So I don't really have a good sense of like what exactly that looks like. But I think that the campaign supposedly, from what I've heard of other commentary, that it's trying to imbibe that sort of movement. And I honestly think she's doing a great job of it. That's all I have to say. So that's my rant on Kamala Harris' speech at the Democratic National Convention. You can see right now I was just like at the end of it and yeah, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Again, no, I'm not going to give any specific thoughts on policy. This is literally just if we're going based on vibes, and I think that generally elections are probably just determined by vibes and not like specific policy aims, then the Harris campaign has done a great job of distancing itself from the Biden administration, because the Biden administration, even though I think its policy aims are great, it has bad vibes and people think that the economy is not doing well and all these sorts of things, even though the stats say otherwise. So, you know, I think it's Kyla Scanlon, is that Kyla Scanlon, has talked about the notion of the vibe session and all that sort of thing. But I get the sense that she's done a great job of distancing herself from the negative elements of Biden, and there's so much hope in the air for like new change and all that stuff as a result, which is surprising. It's like she doesn't get much of the baggage of the Biden administration. And she gets some of the benefits of the Biden administration because she was talking about as vice president doing all the negotiations and stuff for our international or for our foreign policy affairs. And it's like, okay, so you get those benefits, or you get the benefits of the Biden administration trying to do the border bill and all this. So yeah, it's really interesting how she played both sides there. And I think that a lot of the energy is literally just the Biden dropping out gave so much more hope to the voters. Like everybody was just like, the old guy that couldn't speak for shit, he's out. Oh my god, I'm so excited. They didn't even. I don't know. I don't know whether Kamala just fits the like generic Democrat ticket that a lot of people were hoping for, or whether it's Kamala specifically that helps with all of this. I really couldn't tell you because Kamala obviously had a reputation before becoming the presidential nominee, but I don't know. It's so interesting how much the vibes have shifted since she became the nominee. So anyway, if you like the rant, like if you like, dislike if you dislike, leave a comment letting me know why you like or dislike, and I'll see you all next time. And I know you might comment about like, but her policy stuff is bad, or some other thing that you want to critique her about, or she's not actually going to be hard on Israel genocide in Gaza, or stuff like that. I get it. But I'm just talking about the speech. I'm just like, no, this speech is like, makes you proud to be an American. That's what I'm going to say. Anyway, we'll talk about policy stuff in future videos, but bye.